Shout out to our sponsor, Movement Watches.
Get multiple watches in one with bands you can switch out for a whole new look because, we need to buy a whole new watch for every new occasion.
Not you. Get 15% off your entire purchase at mbmtwatches.com/theknow.
Do a barrel roll.
Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Ryan Haywood. My legs don't go up as high as they used to.
I can kick too.
Ow.
Aside from high kicks anyway, the second story trailer for Star Wars Rogue One has dropped well ahead of its December 16th release date. That means we're less than 2 months out from the movie, but if there's one thing, wait, 2 months? We're like 2 months out. It's not less than 2 months, but we're about at 2 months.
Rounding.
Like 2 months and like 3 days.
Sure.
But if there's one thing that we like to do 2 months out from a movie, it's overanalyze every detail we can find in the trailers so it can go into the movie and then be disappointed that they told us everything that would happen in the trailer, even though that's not kind of how it went.
Sure, we'll see. There are a ton of secrets, references, and hints in the newest one, so let's put them together with what we already know about the movie and see if we can build it from the beginning to the end, shall we?
This trailer helped actually kind of a lot with that. It is a story trailer, so it makes sense, as it better informed us as to how and why the protagonist, Jin, got involved with the rebellion.
This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.
Aside from that, which was hopefully cut during reshoots.
When the trailer starts off, we get a little bit of backstory beyond the whole "we need the plans for the Death Star" broad strokes we've already known about for decades. On a remote planet, Jin's father, Galen, hides Jin from the Death Troopers and the spiffily dressed Orson Krennic, the director of advanced weapons research for the Imperial military.
He tells her, "Whatever I do it to protect you," indicating that his future efforts on the Death Star are against his will.
Good thing he's protecting one person. Which leads to some pretty interesting possibilities for speculation, honestly. I mean, if you're building a Death Moon, more or less against your will, suddenly it becomes much more forgivable to design a thermal exhaust port that anyone who's used to shooting womp rats back home can hit without a targeting computer.
Hey guys, don't shoot this big hole. It's real bad for me if you do.
Right, someone just goes
Terrible.
like, no one could ever get a hold of that. No one could use that. Someone please
Perfectly
use that.
womp rat sized. It's only hinted at by the familiarity with the two characters expressed in the trailer, but based on the novel synopsis for Rogue One, Catalyst, that was released in September, we know a little bit more. That Krennic and Galen Erso are old friends, and Galen's brilliant research into energy has brought him to the attention of the Death Star project and their opponents, and offer him the opportunity to continue his research with every resource he needs.
I think the quotes around opportunity are pretty important. So based on this, we can guess that something probably went sour at that point. Maybe Galen discovered that his research was going into a death laser and went on the run. We don't really see Galen's wife anywhere in this trailer, so chances are she didn't make it. He and Jin get away, but not always. That doesn't last.
Yeah. Anyway, back to present day. As Jin's daydreaming is cut short, she's had a few, kind of rough years on her own since she was like 15. That seems to be a theme, right? Like abandoned females in the Star Wars universe.
That does seem like a new thing.
Yeah. Well, she's been arrested for forgery of Imperial documents, possession of stolen property, aggravated assault, resisting arrest, probably possession, legal.
Yeah. She's been blazing.
This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel.
But it would be a pretty boring movie if she stayed in prison the whole time, so lucky us that the rebels broke her out and took her along to Mon Mothma, who knows exactly who she is and what her father's been up to.
Though that would make for a really interesting season of Orange is the New Black.
Just chilling there going, I don't know what's going on.
Life on the inside's hard.
Crazy eyes, being all cool and stuff.
Okay, well here's the thing. It looks an awful lot like they're on Jedha.
In the prison.
Right. And if you're not familiar with that planet, that's not really that surprising. It was basically Mecca for the Jedi, one of the first civilizations to use the Force, and with a statue the size of Lord of the Rings Argonath lying abandoned and broken, it's pretty clear how thoroughly the Empire has kind of wiped the Jedi slate from existence and, kind of got rid of all memories of them since the end of Episode 3.
Which is crazy, because it hasn't been that long since Episode 3, so they worked fast. It's also a cool contrast, I felt like, to The Force Awakens and the skeleton of the Star Destroyers and all that litter the surface of Jakku. It makes it very clear that this is a different time.
They just keep building civilizations on top of civilizations.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
London.
just like-
you dig
like-
down far enough and you're like,
Ruins, make a house in them.
there you go. It's not clear if they're headed to Jedha or if Jedha's where Jin is when the rebels break her out, or if that's even how you pronounce Jedha. The color of the sand when the rebels blow the door in kind of points to the latter, but that could also have been a shot from later on.
So, either way, Jin learns what her father's been up to since he went off with Krennic from Mon Mothma. The Death Star is nearing completion, and they need to rescue him and find out how they can destroy this monstrosity. So, despite the hopelessness of what they're up against, she puts together a ragtag group of rebels who we got a little bit more familiar with in the last trailer, and off they go to infiltrate the Death Star.
When asked for a call sign, they should make one up on the spot.
That's what it seems like anyway.
It's movie name. Movie name.
Rogue.
Got
Hold
it.
on, let's go with Rogue. Rogue One.
Got it. This is just a guess, but it makes me wonder why Rogue. I mean, sure, it sounds cool and all. Great X-Men. But Rogue also implies kind of going off plan. Maybe the infiltration of the Death Star isn't entirely sanctioned by Mon Mothma.
Possibility.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they brought Jin in for her information, but got more than they bargained for. And
she's
now
a rebel.
She is a rebel. Always going off book,
She
Jin.
rebels.
She took off with a ship, and whoever she could convince to go with her and wants to go get her dad from the Empire's clutches, who knows?
It's entirely possible. And this is where we find out why Jin was shown in early marketing materials wearing an Imperial uniform. The infiltration is kind of heisty. Because it's boring if everything goes to plan, we know that that won't exactly work out smoothly either.
Though if that is the case, it would be sort of strange to announce that you were a rogue when asked for a call sign trying to go.
So maybe their call sign with the rebellion.
This is Steal Your Shit 49er
coming into dock with the Death Star. What's your call sign? Fucking you up, one.
Here from my dad, 72. I'm going to make a little bit of a guess here. It kind of goes pear-shaped and their escape doesn't go smoothly. Go figure.
It's almost like it's a movie.
Yeah. The fighting on the tropical planet we see is confirmed to be Scarif, and it's filthy with military forces.
Absolutely filthy.
Just lousy with them. Guesses are the rebels have to fight through the gauntlet to escape, but you know they just never get away clean.
Yeah, they're probably followed or shot down, something like that, on Jeddah once again, where we see them facing off against Imperial forces in an abandoned ghost town, and the Empire has probably come after them. They might want Galen back, assuming, or they just want to get the rebels that got away with their plans. Whatever. There's what looks like an enormous explosion as well. So, I don't know, maybe they actually went after them with the entire Death Star and they're testing it on Jeddah itself?
That's what happens. See, they mess up. The builder of the Death Star gets offed or stolen before he gets that last hardware patch in that would have covered up the hole.
Right.
No one else could have figured out how to do that.
That was just like, go down the list. Didn't tick that one off.
All right, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how accurate all these predictions are after seeing this trailer. Come back in 2 months, and maybe you can either throw out offering at our feet in honor of our accuracy, or
probably.
boo. Yeah,
I'm sure we're very accurate.
That could be it, or you could just typically internet boo and shame us for the whole thing. I mean, that's always on the table either way. But it certainly looks like it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah. So based on the trailer, are you predicting a different order of events? Let us know what you think is going to happen in the comments.
I think it's going to start with a flashback, and then another flashback inside the flashback, and then a flash forward inside the flashback.
Whoa.
And if that turns out to be true, stay tuned for more Star Wars Watch news. Like the video and subscribe to the new.
They've got so many more standalones to do. We can do an entire standalone and a flashback.
Yeah.
Thanks to Movement Watches for sponsoring this update.
Movement Watches are made with versatility in mind because you don't want to buy a new watch for every occasion.
No, that's just silly. Wearing down your brown shoes, then you just switch out your metal band for a brown leather band, and it's like getting a new watch, and you're so stylish.
Yeah, I went with this lovely black band with a black face and red highlights.
It looks nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I got a new baby blue band. I'm loving it. Watches start at $95, but if you want, you can get 15% off your entire purchase when you go to movementwatches.com/theknow. That's mvmtwatches.com/theknow.